Good morning, folks. It's the lofty biker here. I'm just going to ride up to Damerells of Indian Queens again. We'll test a little different bike today. It's the brand new for 2021 Honda CMX1100 Rebel. It's the big boy of the 500 version. It comes in manual or DCT. Let's hope it's the DCT. See you in a minute. So here we are, YouTube. CMX1100 Rebel. Ignition key on the side. Click it into drive. It's a little bit tight. This has got the high seat on. It's just arrived and Mark's put it on. It's about 20 mil higher. Yeah, it's quite tight in the hip. But steering feels very light. We've got the DCT. How good's that? Okay, so okay, so we're in sport at the moment. Let's just have a look. Select. User. Rain. Standard. Well, we'll put it in standard. See how we get on in standard. So the mirrors, not bad. We're doing 30 mile an hour. We're in fourth gear. As you know, I'm quite used to the gearbox, the DCT, and I'm a big fan. And I do think for cruising, or for a cruiser, it probably will be a very good option. We're doing 36 mile an hour now, and in standard it's knocked us up into sixth gear. How good's that? And it does feel relaxed. As I said, my first impression was it feels a little bit tiny, a little bit cramped. I would prefer the pegs to be either 2 inches further away or at least an inch further down. This bike's virtually brand new. It's done very few miles. Mark's been riding it over the weekend. He's very impressed with it. He said it's a typical Honda. Well, we'll see. Thanks, mate. The gearbox does upshift very, very quickly in standard, but it pulls away well. There's that much torque in this motor. 30 mile an hour fourth gear is not really a problem at all. It sounds pretty good too. There's a decent exhaust note to it. It's not overly muted like a lot of new bikes. But the Africa Twin, well, the engine, of course, it's the 1100 engine. It has got that nice parallel twin 270 throw crank, so it gives you a nice feel. We'll do a little acceleration test in a minute on a bit faster road. Take a right at the island. The switchgear. As you know, Honda put the horn above the indicator, and on this there's also the flappy paddle below the indicator. Now on some of the earlier models it wasn't really intuitive to catch the indicator without either sounding the horn or whatever, but this, it's far better. The horn, there you go, and the indicator are easy, and the flappy paddle just below. Just knocked it down 2 in fourth gear. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to slow down to 30. I'm going to knock it into sport. Okay. So I'll come down into second gear, 30 mile an hour second gear. Let's just do a roll on. Okay, not bad at all. You're doing illegal speeds very quickly from third to fifth gear. Just drop back to fourth again. Right. Pretty peppy. Let's just knock it back down into standard again. There you go, standard mode. So I'll just flip it back into second again. Now this is second gear. Now to be fair, I'm going to say this, it's contrary to everything I've said on the other bikes. I think the bike feels better in standard. The gear change is lovely for a nice smooth pickup. Gets you up to 6, but it's all relative to how much revs you give it. The more revs you give it, the more it's sort of been in sync. Now, you can't actually pick your sub modes on this one. You've got user, rain, standard, and sport, as I said, and the gearbox is configured to suit those modes. So you don't have like Sport 1, Sport 2, Sport 3. We're going to take a right here. See what it's like down the twisties. Is he going to stop? No, caravan drivers, they don't always stop. So that drops quite low revs. There we go, we'll pick up. Yeah, if you give it more revs in the lower gears, it does tend to hang on a little bit longer. I'll just flip it up one with the manual. There you go, fifth. Lovely. It's a lovely day today in Cornwall. Not too hot, not too cold. It was showing 23 degrees on my way to Damerells. Beautiful. There's no screen, but to be fair, I don't think you need a screen. Spoils the looks of a cruiser. I use the thumb paddle there. See, I'm not quite used to this gearbox. I used the thumb paddle there thinking I needed to knock it down one, and I didn't really need to. It was quite adequate on its own. These gearboxes are getting better and better all the time. And like I said a little bit earlier on, I do think the automatic suits a cruiser. I've just been talking to Mark in the shop. He said he thinks people will probably buy the manual over the auto because that's what people do. Now, I don't need to ride the manual. I don't need to. I know what a manual bike's like. I know what a manual 1100's like. Now, for me, when I'm out on my scooter, I don't miss a clutch. I don't miss a gearbox. I just twist and go. And to be honest, when you're out on a cruiser, in effect what you've got is a laid back scooter, isn't it? Okay, the Harley boys will be against me for saying that. But you're not in a rush. You're not going to be thrashing about. You're going to be cruising. And to be honest, when you're cruising, this bike in standard mode, it's sublime. Very, very good. I'll do a bit of a brake check in a bit. As I said earlier, this is brand new. It's been ridden by very few people. So I don't want to give it no thrashing or anything, but to be fair, you don't really thrash an 1100cc bike. Nasty junction this, just have a good look. We've got a local boy on his trike. He nearly smiled, nearly waved. Yeah, I do like that gearbox. Cruise is lovely at 30 mile an hour. Okay, we're in a national, but there's a junction here. I'll get past him any second. I'll have a bit of fun. Just have a look at the road. Yeah, it's clear. There you go, picks up easy. Straight away we're doing 60. I've got a boy racer on a Triumph behind me. Oh, he did wave. There you go, son. I can never tell these days whether it's a speed triple or a street triple. But he's away. He's going a little bit faster than I want to go. But this is a nice road. And I'm settled into the cruise. And we've got a 16 on the back and an 18 on the front, which is a combination I don't generally know much about. But I've got to say, holes are lying absolutely beautiful. The other thing I was going to say, when I noticed that they got this out on demo, I'd asked Mark if I could take it. He said, yeah, of course. I looked at the pictures, the actual photo pictures, the press pictures, and I thought, Jesus, that's fugly. But when I walked into the showroom and I saw it, I thought, in the flesh, that's a nice looking bike. It is very Honda. It's very safe, but it's the cycle parts are black, but the paintwork is like a metallic grey, like a dark gunmetal grey with a lovely silver fleck in it. It is absolutely gorgeous. When you park it up in the sunshine, it just pops out, the paintwork does. It is lovely. Let's have a little chat about the dash. It's got a big circular dash. Very nice actually. And on the side we've got like an LED panel with warning lights. But the main dash is very, very intuitive. We've got a large speedometer in the middle, a tacho running around the top half, around the circumference. We've got a lovely little clock above the speed, and we've got the gear indicator to the left. I'll just see if I can get a shot for you. I hope that's come out. Fuel gauge, nice big long bar, 5 or 6 bars. Below the fuel gauge, we've got what modes it's in. We're in, like I say, standard mode now, but below that there's the power, the traction, and the engine braking, and the drive. To the right of that we've got a thermometer, we're showing 21 degrees, and below we've got a range, so I should imagine that's sorted through the mode button on the left hand bars. Very easy to start and stop. We've got a handbrake, so you switch it on, you put it into drive, release the handbrake, and away you go. I'll try and demonstrate the handbrake when I do the walk round. So we're coming into Quintrell Downs, not far from Newquay. I'm going to throw a right to head back towards Indian Queens and find somewhere where I can do a bit of a walk round. So it's nicely dropped down to second gear. Nobody about on the island. Got the indicators on. Yeah, smooth that is. I did catch my right toe there, but as you all know, I'm very tall. I'm 6'5", 34 inside leg, and for me, I would say the bike is probably too small, even with the high seat, because although it raises the bit up you sit on, I'm so far away, the back bit's not really any benefit, so I'm actually on the hump at the back, and it does feel fairly cramped and tight in the groin area. Mark sat on it, He's just shy of 6 foot, 5'11"-ish, and he found it okay, not bad at all. He's had a bit of a ball on it all weekend, loving it. I would probably say at 5'11", he's about as tall as you'd want to go. Seriously, I don't generally say this, that bikes aren't suitable, but although this bike is beautiful, it's got all the features, everything you'd want, I do not think it's suitable for 6 foot people and above. So all you who moan about adventure bikes being too tall and too gangly and the seats are too high, I suggest you take one of these out. You will love it. Absolutely love it. The wind blast is not bad at all, actually. I can feel it on my arms, a little bit on my chest. I'm getting no buffeting, none whatsoever. Somebody's parked a coach up on the left hand side. It just looks like a speed camera from a distance. They do all sorts of tricks to get you to slow down, you know, some of these people. Just nip past. Quite a bit of traffic about again. We've had the G7. I don't know whether you saw it on the television. It was wonderful, actually. Helicopters, vertical takeoff helicopters, aeroplanes that look like helicopters. We had Biden and Boris and all the gang down. We had the red arrows flying across. It's been fabulous. It's been wonderful for Cornwall. Little old Cornwall hosted a world famous event, the G7. Now the diplomats have gone. The tourists are coming back slowly. St Ives and Cobbies Bay was fairly quiet from a tourist point of view for about 7 or 8 days. But of course, as the police moved out, the tourists have moved in, and it's very busy. It's getting busier every day. The A30 was extremely busy as I drove up to Indian Queens. Okay, so I'm back. We're on a dual carriageway. Let's get it up to 70. Cruise control. So on the right hand bar you've got a push button to set. So you push it in to activate, and then you just flick it down once. Right, so we're doing 64, 65. I'll just flick it up. Very easy to use, very simple. You've got an activation button that comes up on the screen on the LCD, and you've got a set button to say it's operating. Now just to deactivate, you just push the throttle forward gently and off it comes. Easy peasy. So we're approaching the island in standard in 6th. It's come down to 5th on its own, 4th on its own. 3rd, that was a lovely change. I never did nothing. Beautiful. Absolutely lovely. So we're going to take a left. It's good fun playing on these islands, and I'm going to take a right. Knock it down a couple of gears, yes. I'm grounding feet out quite easily. Right, we've got a dead end road here, we shouldn't be bothered. How good's that? Right, let's see if we can find somewhere nice and safe. Do a walk round. So, here we are, neutral. Good morning, YouTube. The Lofted Biker here. Mark's let me a bike in from Damerells. Just do a quick walk around for you. This is the CMX1100 Rebel with a DCT box. I'll just flip the camera out so you can have a look. Not what I expected. Not what I expected at all. Good looking bike. Little bit small, that's the only problem. A little bit tiny in the leg. Hip cramped. Come all the way round. There's the lights at the back. Big pipe. Piggyback shocks on the back. Okay, so what exactly have we got? This is the 2021 brand new model Honda CMX1100 Rebel. It's an 1100C parallel twin, single overhead cam, 8 valve with the DCT box. This is the motor taken from the Africa Twin. It is 85 brake horsepower with 74 foot-pounds, so they've detuned it a bit, but it's still got plenty of torque. The low seat or standard seat comes at 700mm. This is the high seat with an extra 20mm added. 3 rider modes, as I said. It's got rain, standard and sport. You've also got a user. It's got wheelie control, cruise control, Honda selectable torque control. On the front we've got 43mm cartridge forks, piggyback twin shocks on the back. We've got monoblock 4-piston caliper on the front with a 330mm disc on the front and a 256 single caliper on the back. We're running 16-inch on the rear, 18-inch on the front. There's a very useful 3 litres under seat storage with a USB Type-C inside. Okay, I'll try and get the seat off, see how it works. So what we've got is you've got the ignition key, you push it in and you turn it until it clicks. This lets you bring out the seat. So once the seat is removed, you've got a useful storage compartment with a bit of a toolkit inside. Here's the USB. Bit of a flimsy cover. I think that should be connected to something, but it's not. So there you go, under the seat. As I say, this one's the high seat. So the rear in first, click the front down. The difference between the seats, it's raised up here, this bit is 2 inches higher, but it seems to have brought it all the way across, so you even get a thickness here, whereas the low seat comes back to about there. So actually, if you want to sit back into the seat, the low seat, or the standard seat I should say, is probably better for giving you that bit of leg room. Here's the forward controls. Nice, heavy duty. Big steel lever. That's the DCT box, the controller. Everything's to hand. Just trying to see if I can get the sun on. Can you see the sun glistening? The paint really pops. It's the sort of bike you could be proud to own. The build quality looks pretty good. Everything's fitted together nicely. Fastenings are nice. Everything about it looks the part. The only problem is, like I said when I was riding it, I don't think it's suitable for big boys. It's bigger bike than the Rebel, of course, the Rebel 500, and a better looking bike. Although it's following the same cues, I think this engine does look so much better. Anyway, I'll get my helmet back on and we'll do a bit more riding and I'll get it back to Damerells. Okay, while I'm here back on the bike, I'll just show you the handbrake. So it's on the left hand lever. You just pull it back, handbrake on, solid as a rock. Just take the pressure off the lever, push a little button, flick it away, you're gone. Side stand up, select drive, we're away again. So, as I've just got back on, I've noticed, didn't notice the first time, it's quite wide, the engine and gearbox is quite wide between your legs. Just nip straight across at the island. It's typical cruiser style. It's a shame it's not a little bit longer, a little bit bigger. But if it was any longer, if you increase the wheelbase, you'd probably spoil the handling. Because I've got to say, on these little Nadgery roads, it's sublime. It's really good. I'm barreling here, 50, 55. Absolutely no problem at all. Yeah, if it was just that little bit bigger, a bit longer, I could love this. I could ride this. All you people sub 6 footers, I'd definitely go out and give this a try. Yeah, that's very sure footed, that is. Okay, so one of the few things I haven't actually mentioned is the price. The manual version, available in either black or red, comes in at 8,999, just under 9 grand. It's about an extra 800 quid, brings it just shy of 10 grand, 9.8. As you can see, the black is beautiful. I've not seen the red in the flesh, so I couldn't tell you what it's like. But just shy of 10 grand for a small cruiser. Very comparable with what's on the market. Let's get us in 4th gear at 40 mile an hour. There we go. Let's test the brakes out. Front brake. Not bad at all for a single disc. Let's get it up again. The roads are clear, by the way, folks. I always check. Here's the back brake. Now for a cruiser, I would say the back brake is about a 5 and the front brake's about an 8.5. Now that's just for a lightweight cruiser. I can't really say whether the back brake is bedded in properly yet. There's not a lot of feel to it. The ABS does work. It's fairly effective. So just take a right on the island. Well, it does hold a nice line round the island. Let's go all the way round, shall we? God knows what gear we're in. My pegs are scraping, my boots are scraping. 23 mile an hour, we're in 3rd gear. Round and round and round. How good's that? Take a left. That's probably why they never lowered the pegs anymore. I'm not really, although I'm heavy, I'm not really softening the suspension down too much and my feet are dragging. Anyway, I quite like it, but then again I say that about most bikes, don't I? I just like riding bikes, but seriously, if you're in the market for a lightweight cruiser, a sub 10 grand bike, I'd give this a try. I really would give this a try. Take it for a ride, take it for a longer ride than I have. As I say, I'm not finding it that comfortable because it's a bit small for me, but it's a beautiful bike. I'd like to thank Mark at Damerells for lending me the bike again. It's the lofty biker saying, ta-ra for now. Ta-ra.